This conference will now be recorded.
Great. Thank you, Yogita. Thank you, Shiva. And also, at the end, please drop the language that you prefer for this session, English or Hindi. Okay. I'm expecting more messages, guys. So we are around 46 participants, and only I have received 2 messages. So if you can do me a favor, it will be more easy for me to explain and more fruitful for you to understand as well. So just 3 piece of information. I want your name, your highest qualification, or if you are working in IT industry, your total experience, and then the language that you prefer, English, Hindi, or likewise. Okay, only 2 messages so far. Come on, guys, let's keep this an interactive session so that it will be easy for both of us to learn and grow. So we have like Abhay, Akshat, Amrut, Anushka, Bhushan, Abhijit, Disha, Ekta, Mahesh, Mayur, Pranav. Welcome all. I kindly request you to drop a single liner message in chat box so that we can quickly start the session. Yeah, getting more messages. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Shivam, Rushabh, Vikas. Okay, we'll wait for just 2 minutes and we'll start at dot 11:40. Till the time, please drop the messages. Thank you. Okay, so we have 50 participants. So very great number to start off with. Okay. Thank you, Benazir, for dropping a message. Thank you, Yogesh. Can I expect more responses, please? Thank you, Prachi. Thank you, Akshada. Thank you, Tejas. Okay, so I can see most of the crowd is from BCA. Very nice. Thank you, Shravani. Thank you, Disha. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you, Amrut. Thank you, Daisya. Great. Thank you, Aman, Bhakti. Okay, guys. So thank you so much everyone for your responses. Thank you, Prahash. So from the responses, what I got to understand is most of the participants are pursuing BCA in cloud computing. That is a very good choice. And second thing, the language preferred is mostly English or either Hindi. Okay, so I'll explain in both the languages as and when required. Okay, so first of all, I'm really grateful that irrespective of today's holiday in Maharashtra, but still you have registered for this session and joined. So thanks a lot and pat your back for doing so. Okay, so to start with, okay, so I hope my screen is visible. If it is, please give a thumbs up. Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so to start with, I'll just give a brief introduction about KnowledgeWare. So, like we have been in this training journey for quite a long time. We have placed around 1,500 plus students into the top MNCs. Also, we have conducted 1,400 plus trainings, and we have also a broader connect with the companies that is around 500 plus. Apart from that, we also have a good reach on the social media platforms, that is YouTube and LinkedIn. So onto the YouTube we have a 3.5k plus subscribers, which is a little less for now, but we are growing at a very faster pace. Also we have 8k plus LinkedIn followers, which is a good number for a training institute. And yeah, so apart from the yeah, so we have like conducted 2000 plus practical scenarios, and the hours training completed is around 10,000 plus. Also, the quick highlight or a great number here is to see the Google rating that we have. So we have around 4.8 star of Google rating, which is very good. So thanks to all those who have rated us onto the Google. Okay, so this is a very quick introduction about KnowledgeWare. So I'll quickly start with the session. So I will just give a brief introduction about me, who am I, and I want to rest assure that you, for the next couple of hours, you are into the right hands, and you will make a very good use of these 2 hours. Okay, so about me, so like I have completed my education like around started from 2011. So I was in 10th in 2011, then in 2013 I completed my 12th, and I have done my BE from University of Pune. So proudly I can say that I was a university topper back then in 2017. Then I was the first one who got selected into the on campus, and then I started my journey into the global MNC. So around I have total of around 7 plus of ITs of experience and all in AWS cloud. So and these are my certifications. So I am AWS cloud practitioner certified. I think in around 2020 I did. Then I am also AWS Solution Architect Associate level certified. I am also AWS SysOps Administrator Associate certified. I am also HashiCorp Certified Terraform Associate certified. Also, I am planning for few more certification into the upcoming months. So rest assured that you are into the right hands. And yeah, okay. So to start with the workshop, am I loud and clear, guys? Yeah, and my pace is right, or you want me to little slow or fast? Okay, Yogesh says voice not clear. I'll just try to increase my volume. Okay, Thank you everyone for the responses. Okay, so moving forward, so yeah, so we are here for the AWS workshop, and just before starting, what I would suggest is now, right? You have registered for this workshop, right? So the one thing that I have learned so many, like in so many years in IT industry or in life, is that uh, just don't be very serious in your life, but whatever things you do, take your life seriously. It means that you have to be a very you should have a very good humor in life. Like आप हंसते खेलते रहो, बट जब भी कोई भी काम करो तो आप उसको उतना ही सीरियसली करो, उतना ही पैशनेटली करो, सो दैट आपको रिजल्ट्स बहुत जल्दी मिल जाएंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लाइक अभी आपने इस सेशन को रजिस्टर किया है, तो राइट नाउ व्हाट, लाइक मेरा भी और आपका भी फोकस इस 2 घंटे के लिए पूरा इस सेशन पे रहना चाहिए. तभी आप इस सेशन का 100% ले पाओगे. अदरवाइज इफ यू कीप ऑन डूइंग अदर थिंग्स वाइल दिस सेशन, आप ना यहाँ पे 100% दे पाओगे, ना वहाँ पे. सो नाउ इफ यू हैव रजिस्टर्ड हियर, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू to only give like 2 hours for me for this session, and I guarantee you at the end of this session you will be very thankful to me कि आपने जो पढ़ा it was very fruitful, and it is like it will be remembered within your mind for the next 5 to 10 years. I guarantee you that. So उतनी मेरी गारंटी है, आप जो भी यहाँ पे सीखोगे आपको 5 से 10 साल याद रहेगा, बिकॉज आई विल टीच यू इन नॉट इन मोर टेक्निकल टर्म्स बट इन मोर इन टू a story format, so that it is very easy for you to remember. Okay, so any questions on that? Okay, so team, if you have any questions, right, please paste it into the chat box, and then we'll refer to this question as and when into the end of the particular module. Okay, I hope that is clear to all of you. Okay, I hope I'm audible. Guys, please keep on reacting so that I'm also able to understand that I'm audible and you are listening to me. Yeah, thank you, Manager. Thank you, Mahi. Yeah. Okay. So now moving forward. So what is AWS cloud, and why cloud computing is required? What was the need? Okay. So first of all, we will go to the typical components that were required to support the traditional client server architecture. So as most of you guys are from BCA, right? So you might understand what is client server architecture. So पहले जमाने में कैसे होता था, एक क्लाइंट होता था. सपोज लाइक नाउ आई एम द क्लाइंट, आई एम वर्किंग लाइक फ्रॉम माई होम, आई हैव अ सिस्टम हियर, और मेरा सर्वर कहीं और जगह पे होता था. And then we also have a room where we have large amount of servers where databases भी है, जहाँ पे हमने networking के लिए routers construct किए हैं. We have different computing what we say computing hardware that is required. और इन सबको सेटअप करने के लिए मुझे बहुत कॉस्ट लगती थी, बहुत मैन पावर लगती थी, और बहुत चैलेंजेस भी आते थे. चैलेंजेस एज इन उसके सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस है, उसके मेंटेनेंस चैलेंजेस है, उसके उसको बाय करना पड़ेगा. आई कैनॉट रेंट इट आउट, आई हैव टू बाय इट. फिर जब मैं उसको बाय करूंगा, देन इट विल नॉट बी डिलीवर्ड टू मी like a Zepto, like in 5 minutes. It would take around a couple of weeks कि वो मुझे डिलीवर हो जाए. उसके बाद देन आई वुड डू ऑल द नेटवर्किंग कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस फॉर ऑल दोज हार्डवेयर एंड सॉफ्टवेयर कंपोनेंट्स, एंड देन आई वुड लाइक host my applications. So in a nutshell, what I what I want to say here is, जब मैं ट्रेडिशनल क्लाइंट सर्वर आर्किटेक्चर का सोचता हूँ, वेयर आई वांट टू कम्युनिकेट बिटवीन क्लाइंट एंड सर्वर एंड आई वांट टू होस्ट एन एप्लीकेशन, it would in previous time, in traditional times, it would take me around weeks or months to do so. And apart from that, we also have like the cost part, the maintenance part, as I already said, the cooling part, and there were many challenges. That's why where cloud came into the picture. Okay, so yeah, as I said, so these were the business challenges at that point of time. So we have we have cost. So just a minute. Okay, so yeah, so the issue with the cost, like we have to capital expenditures for the equipment purchases. Equipment life cycle is typically 3 to 5 years. So like if we जैसे अगर आप पुराने जमाने में कहीं सर्वर खरीदते थे या फिर स्टोरेज के लिए कुछ इक्विपमेंट खरीदते थे, तो एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इट वाज नॉट लाइक यू कैन बाय इट फॉर अ सिंगल मंथ, you can buy it for a 2 months, like so it was like you have to do it dedicatedly for 3 to 5 years. इसका मतलब अगर आप कुछ भी हार्डवेयर इक्विपमेंट जो कि बहुत कॉस्टली होता था उस टाइम पे, अगर आप उसको खरीदते हो, देन यू हैव टू लाइक पे द कॉस्ट फॉर लाइक अराउंड 3 to 5 years. तो अगर आप उसका यूज एवरी मतलब पूरा टाइम करो या मत करो, या डू इट फॉर ओनली 2 months और 6 months और 8 months, स्टिल यू हैव टू बियर द कॉस्ट फॉर द 3 to 5 years. So that was the biggest challenge, as I highlighted before. Second thing was the distributed workforce. Distributed workforce मतलब क्या, like many organizations have remote offices as well as employees who travel to and work from home. So पहले कैसे होता था कि अगर आपका आपका जो सर्वर है, नेटवर्क है जहाँ पे वो सेटअप है, आपको वहीं पे जाके काम करना है. मतलब आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेडली दूसरे जगहों से काम नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज देयर वर फ्यू लिमिटेशंस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम एज वेल. जैसे अभी हम वर्क फ्रॉम होम करते हैं, वो पहले नहीं कर सकते थे. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द पॉइंट. सेकेंड इज स्लो प्रोविजनिंग. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, इट वुड टेक अराउंड वीक्स और मंथ्स कि आप उस सबको सेटअप जमाओ. उस एक तो पहले आपकी कॉस्ट भी गई, आप उसको मेंटेन भी करो, आप उसके लिए रूम या फिर यू हैव अ एरिया वेर यू कैन सेटअप ऑल दिस. फिर उसको टेस्टिंग करो, उसको प्रोविजन करो सर्वर को, फिर एप्लीकेशंस को करो, एंड देन फिर आप धीरे धीरे आपका ऐसे जो बिजनेस है या फिर वी कैन से द एप्लीकेशन, आप उसको प्रोविजन करो. सो यू सी हियर द टाइम दैट यू रिक्वायर्ड फॉर बिजनेस, लाइक जो एप्लीकेशन है आपका, उसको फोकस करने को आपको टाइम ही नहीं मिल रहा. आपको जो आपका पूरा टाइम, आपकी पूरी एनर्जी इज इन्वेस्टेड इन व्हाट आई से द हार्डवेयर, द ऑन प्रीमाइसेस सेटअप. जो आपको इतना लाइक उसने उसमें भी आपको कुछ बेनिफिट्स नहीं मिल रहे, आपकी कॉस्ट जा रही है, आपका एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग, बट स्टिल you have not even started for the application. So these were the main business challenges that we were facing in the traditional approach. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so these are the business challenges that AWS cloud is going to overcome, and that's why we require AWS, we require cloud. Basically AWS cloud, we also have Microsoft Azure, we also have GCP, and there is also IBM cloud and other clouds that are emerging. But AWS cloud is the first one who came into the market, and it is actually ruling over the other clouds like for around 13 to 14 years. And I hope it has currently now 1 lakh plus active users. And yeah, so around like 33%, I say 33% of the market share is of the AWS cloud. So like we have if like suppose there are 100 users who are using cloud, then at 33% are using AWS cloud, and the rest will be using your Microsoft Azure, your GCP and other clouds. So from like a job point of perspective or from the technology point of perspective, it is very safe and very convenient option to go with the AWS cloud if you are like dwelling into the cloud journey. Okay, so now what are the benefits of the cloud? Okay, so first thing is access services on demand. It means that अगर आपको कोई सर्विस चाहिए, जैसे इन द ट्रेडिशनल अप्रोच, इफ यू वांट अ कंप्यूट सर्विस, तो आपको वहाँ पे सर्वर्स और वो सब सेटअप करना था. बट यहाँ पे आप सीधा विद इन द मिनट्स यू कैन गो ग्लोबल. आपको 5 मिनट में आपको अगर कोई कंप्यूट सर्विस चाहिए, तो आप आपके अकाउंट में प्रोविजन कर सकते हैं, एंड यू स्टार्ट यूजिंग इट. इट मीन्स आपको आपका जो पूरा एफर्ट है वो पूरा आपके एप्लीकेशन में लगेगा, आपके कोडिंग में रहेगा, एंड हाउ टू मेक इट मोर ग्लोबल. आपको बैक एंड का फिजिकल सर्वर हो गया, डेटाबेस हो गया, स्टोरेज हो गया, वो सब आपको उसकी चिंता ही नहीं करनी. सो दैट इज द मेन प्रॉब्लम that AWS solves, or rather cloud solves. Second thing, as it is written, avoid large upfront investment. जैसे मैंने कहा, in traditional times you have to invest lot of your money in buying those servers, into the maintenance cost. उसका हर month, every quarter you have to do the maintenance, you have to do the cooling part, and I mean the place with that where you are keeping all this, we have to maintain the security, like physical जो आपने building खरीदी होगी उसका rent हो गया, उसका cost हो गया. So everything now here it is gone. So a large amount of investment that you did into the traditional approach, you are not doing it here. You are simply, you are asking for the service that you want to provision, and AWS cloud is doing it for you. Okay, so that is a big plus or a big benefit we can say of cloud computing. Okay, so moving on to the third point. So provision computing resources as needed. It means जैसे अगर मैं लास्ट स्लाइड पे जाऊं, तो अगर आपको सॉरी, yeah, so if you can see here, whenever I used to do the like expenditure, I used to do it typically for 3 to 5 years. Matlab, I have to spend my money, even if I want to or not, I have to spend it money for 3 to 5 years. But here what you can do is, if you want the resource, you keep the resource. If you don't want to if you don't want that resource, you can just delete that resource, and you will only pay for the time frame that you use that resource. Okay, it is, I understood. Okay, so I'll just check the meeting. Yeah, am I clear? आपको चीजें समझ में आ रही है या फिर ओके, थैंक यू माही, राहुल, योगिता. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so moving forward, so yeah, so provision computing resources as needed. So जैसे मैंने कहा, आपको जितने टाइम के लिए चाहिए, आप उतने टाइम के लिए ही you are provisioning that resources. And if your use case is completed, or if you don't need that resource, then you are deleting that resources. It means you are also going to pay, as the 4 points suggest, you are also going to pay only for the time that you use. Okay, you are not going to buy it for a whole time, like 1 year, 3 year, 5 years likewise. So it is a on demand. So as it suggests, it is a on demand service. And you are also avoiding also avoiding large upfronts, and you are computing as needed, and you only pay. So in simple terms, अगर आपको कोई पूछे कि what is cloud computing, so it is simple like, you are renting the services. In traditional client server architecture, you are buying those services. I mean, if you buy, so you have to be, like वो आपके पास ही रहेगा. But in cloud computing, you are just renting it, and not even renting it like for a large amount of time. You are just renting it as per your need. आपको 2 दिन चाहिए, आपने उसने के लिए किया, आपने थर्ड डे उसको रिसोर्स को डिलीट कर दिया. So cost is also like here, you have all, I think you have heard pay as you go model. It means when you buy, there at that point of time only they start billing you, and when you delete, till that time only they charge you. So like if you are using it for a day or two, then they will only charge for a day or two. They will not charge you for a week or for a month. So this is the main benefit of the cloud. Okay, so now we'll see. Can if anyone have any idea what are the cloud services that we are using so far? Can anyone name any cloud service that you think of? Good, Netflix. Yeah, there are few examples on the screen, but apart from that, or anything you think that a service might be using cloud at the backend? Yeah, EC2, S3, good. Benazir. Okay, great. So like these are the cloud services that we are already using. So Gmail is something that we use on a daily basis, right? So we receive mails, we send mails. So it is a type of a software as a service that we are using. So I'll come back to what software as a service is, but yeah, this is one of the service that we are using. Then we have Dropbox, where we store our files, folders. Like, it is also originally built on AWS. And then we also have Netflix, so it is also built on AWS. Okay, so it's basically, if you can see here, video on demand. So whenever you demand, at that point of time only, you will see a movie, right? You will, I mean, suppose आपने पूरा नेटफ्लिक्स को, अभी नेटफ्लिक्स पे यू हैव मल्टीपल मूवीज, मल्टीपल सीरीज, राइट? आप हर एक सीरीज के लिए या फिर हर एक मूवी के लिए पे नहीं करते हो. You just take the renting subscription that is around whatever it is for a specific 6 months or 1 year, and then आपको जब टाइम मिले आप उसको देखते हो. ऑल्सो अगर आप देखोगे तो यू डोंट हैव टू स्टोर ऑल दोज मूवीज ऑन योर सिस्टम, राइट? अगर सपोज इफ यू आर वॉचिंग 10 बॉलीवुड मूवीज ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो आप उस 10 बॉलीवुड मूवीज को आपको आपके फोन पे या फिर आपके मेमोरी कार्ड में या फिर आपके लोकल स्टोरेज पे स्टोर नहीं करना है. यू जस्ट गो, यू वॉच इट एंड यू कम बैक. इट मीन्स उसका जो स्टोरेज कॉस्ट है या फिर जो स्टोरेज के लिए मेमोरी लगती है या फिर जो डेटाबेस लगता है, उस पे आप, यू आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग अ सिंगल पेनी. आप उसका, उसको आपका, आप उसके बारे में सोच भी नहीं रहे हो. दैट ऑल इज टेकन केयर बाय नेटफ्लिक्स. एंड हाउ डज नेटफ्लिक्स टेक केयर ऑफ इट? बाय यूजिंग AWS cloud at the back end. So there are some services of AWS which Netflix is using to, like, for computing your movies, for storing them, or whenever there is a high demand, for scaling them as well. So okay, so I'll come back to that point as well. Okay, so moving forward, so what are the cloud computing benefits? So whatever we saw first, pay as you go model, and what is based on the cost, or based on the how we go global in minutes, and we don't have to wait for like months to go live, right? So these were the see, this, that was the definition. So now we'll see what are the actual benefits of the cloud. Okay, okay, so the first one here is, as you can see, it is scalable, as in, if you can see on the picture, it is very easily defined, the ability to easily grow in size, capacity, and or scope when required, usually based on demand. Okay, so in simple terms, suppose I'll explain this with an example. Just a minute. ओके, सो सपोज नाउ, अगर अभी आप, हम ऐसा एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि नाउ वी हैव अ आईपीएल सीजन गोइंग ऑन, राइट? सपोज सीएसके की और आरसीबी की मैच चल रही है. नाउ करेंटली at the toss time, we have only minimum users, like everyone is not interested into the toss, so we have like around 1,000 users, let's consider. Okay, but when the match goes forward, and suppose Virat Kohli comes to bat, so now at that point, the number of users who, like, suppose there is RCB batting and Virat Kohli comes to bat, the number of users onto that platform, onto the Hotstar platform, suddenly goes high. It will go to around 2,000 users. So that this is the scalability feature of the cloud, that is enabling that users to come online and to see that, and that application is not crashing. So it is a scalability feature of that cloud, that is Hotstar is using at the backend. Okay, again we go forward, and at the end of the match, now we have like 2 or 3 balls and 6 runs to wins, and now everybody knows Dhoni is going to come on to the crease, right? So now the users go from 2,000 to 6,000. Actually, it goes into crores, but for example, let's consider. Okay, so now you can see, now the same application which was hosting 1,000 users at the toss time, which was hosting 2,000 users at the Virat Kohli's batting, now it also has to cater 6,000 users when Dhoni is also coming to bat. Okay, so now this is the scalability feature that Hotstar is using at the back end, and this is only possible because of the cloud and the services that it offers. Okay, so this is the first benefit of the cloud, scalability. Okay, now moving to the second feature. So what is elastic and what is elasticity? So as the name suggests, it is very easy to understand that the ability to not only grow, scale when required, but also reduce in size when required. Okay, so जैसे we learn about scalability is always to grow. What is elasticity? It is also to grow, but it is also to shrink. It is also to reduced in size whenever there is no more traffic onto the internet. Like for example, हम ऐसे समझते हैं with the same example, right? IPL कि during the toss time we have 1,000 users, and then again when RCB like Virat Kohli comes to bat, we have 2,000 users, and then at the CSK batting, it understand that they have to like chase 300 runs, and Dhoni comes and he comes to bat. Then the traffic goes from 2,000 to 6,000 users, but his wickets fall at the very first ball, and now everybody knows that the CSK is losing the match. So then the Dhoni fans will go out of the Hotstar. They will switch the app, and then suddenly the users will draw from 6,000 to 1,000, right? So this capability also the Hotstar should maintain, that at a certain point, or like if I give an example of a festival, so like suppose if you are ordering from Amazon, right, during the Amazon festival, the user base will go very high, that for a Diwali time or for a Dasera time when they are also hosting any sale. But when there is no sale, at the same time they also want to host the application, but they have to cater less number of users. Okay, so at that point of time, this elasticity is the feature that AWS cloud is offering to the Amazon, say to the to the Netflix, we can say, or to also to the Hotstar at the same time. So this is the another benefit of the cloud that we are utilizing every now and then. Okay, so moving forward, what is high availability? Okay, so as the very name suggests, high availability means the concept of something being accessible when you attempt to access it, and or the ability to access something via multiple platforms. Okay, so I'll explain it in a more easier way. So high availability is like suppose if you are going by a car somewhere, okay, and आप जा रहे हो लाइक फ्रॉम पुणे टू मुंबई सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल, और रास्ते में अगर आपकी कार पंक्चर हो जाती है, राइट, सो नाउ यू हैव अ स्टेपनी इन योर कार, and you will quickly remove that punctured tire, you will add that stepney, and you will again start your journey. So this is nothing but the example of a high availability. मतलब आपका जो क्या बोलते हैं, आपकी जर्नी रुक नहीं गई, या इट वाज halted for a less number of like it was what we can say, उसमें थोड़ा सा इंटरप्शन आया था, बट स्टिल यू बिकम हाई अवेलेबल. ओके, आपकी जर्नी फिर से स्टार्ट हो गई इन अ हाफ एन आवर और आवर. सो यू अगेन ट्राइड, यू अगेन progress towards Mumbai. So this is nothing but the high availability. Then we have fault tolerant. Okay, so now what is difference between high availability and fault tolerance? So fault tolerance मतलब अगर आप इस image को भी देखोगे, so like suppose we have here three users, and they are going through a router, and here like we have internet and all the data and everything application is running. So now if this router fails, now everything that these customers were using from this internet, the application that they were accessing, it is all gone down. It means it is a single point of failure. It means the ability to withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. ओके, सो स्टिल रिमेन फंक्शनल पे आपको ध्यान देना है, एंड और बी सेल्फ हीलिंग एंड रिटर्न टू फुल कैपेसिटी. Okay, so yeah, I'll just uh, open the chat, and can someone explain me like a example of a fault tolerant? Okay, let's see. If not, then I'll explain. So I explained what is high availability, right? So what do you think of a fault tolerant? If you can go through the definition, it is the ability to withstand a certain amount of failure and still remain functional. This is very important, and still remain functional and or self-healing and return to the full capacity. कोई इसका एग्जांपल दे सकता है इनटू द चैट बॉक्स कि आपको क्या लग रहा है, व्हाट वुड बी द एग्जांपल ऑफ अ फॉल्ट टॉलरेंस? जैसे हाई अवेलेबिलिटी का मैंने, हाँ ओके, टाटा प्ले सिग्नल ड्यूरिंग रेन. ओके, गुड गीता, that is also correct. Any more examples? Yeah, it heals. Yeah, perfectly right. Yogita, Shivam, and user still access the website seamlessly, unaware of the failure behind the scenes. That is also a good explanation, Shivam. But yeah, if you can give me one example of it, a layman term example. I don't want a technical example. Even if it's a normal example, it is also okay. In banking, if any server managing transaction crashes, other servers takes the order. So yeah, that is also a correct example, Pratik. Thank you. Okay, yeah, nice. So, like what I would give example here is fault tolerance. Suppose if you are traveling by an aeroplane, okay. Now, like a car, we got a puncture onto the car into the high availability terms. We change the stepney and we move ahead. But is it possible in term of an aeroplane if you are flying and into the in middle of the journey, something happens? Is it, do you have time to change the part of the uh, plane? Do you have the time? Come on, guys, reply. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we do not have time, right? Someone cannot come into the sky and do the, what we can say, do the uh, maintenance of that plane, right? So it is a fault tolerant example. That means we cannot fail at that point of time. So like as I said, I was giving example. Suppose you are watching the final match of like India and South Africa, as we did, right, for the World Cup, and the last over is came, and into the last over they need suppose 16 runs. At that point of time, suppose if the app, because of the high number of customers, if that app fails, so how will everyone feel, right? So it's a main application which is going production live. There is an important final match going. And yeah, Shruti, load balancing, yeah, I'll come to that, but yeah, let's focus on to the benefits of the cloud first. Okay, so yeah, load balancing, we have auto scaling as well. So yeah, that is great point to highlight. Okay, so it means at that point of time we cannot fail. It is a production environment. It is a production application that is going live. Man, you have lot of customers at that point of time, and you want to cater those customers. Otherwise, suppose if this issue happens, then people will not come to your application again, right? You will lose the customer. You will lose the benefit. You will lose the cost. You will lose the profits. You will lose the revenue. So everything depends upon that single point of failure. So your system should be fault tolerant. So this is also the one of the benefits of the cloud that it offers. Okay, Juhi, can you please mute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so yeah, so this was the another benefit of the cloud. Okay, so now we are moving towards the delivery models of the cloud. But before moving that, let's summarize what we learned so far. If somebody can type in small like 3 to 4 lines, whatever, what are the concepts that we learned, so that it will be a revision for all of us. Okay, no worries. Meanwhile, I'll just wrap that section into small terms. Okay, so we learned about what was the traditional client server architecture, and what were the issues into that. So like the issues of cost control, we have distributed workforce, we have maintenance cost, we have buying cost, we have cooling cost, and other challenges that we faced. So that's when cloud came into the picture, where we were not buying everything, but we were renting the services. We were renting it for only for the time that we want to, and we were deleting them. It means we were only paying for the time we used, so we saved the cost. We also saved the maintenance cost. We don't have to manage any cooling or any physical servers at our end. Okay, apart from that, what cloud computing benefits we heard about is scalability, elasticity, high availability, and fault tolerance. So if you can remember it with the examples like scalability, like suppose I have give example of an like a Dhoni coming to batting, right? So the number of users, it suddenly goes at a very high count. Then the application should manage that count. It should try to cater those users without any interruption. So that is scalability. Similarly, elasticity, like at the same point, suppose if Dhoni goes like he is out at the very first ball, then the count of the what we can say participants or the viewers, it goes down suddenly. At that point of time also, it should be the application should shrink. It should not cater like more number of users, otherwise it is unnecessarily losing the cost. So it should only use the compute or the storage capacity for less number of users, because it also has to manage the cost at its end, right? So elasticity is one of the feature. Then we discussed about what is high availability and what is fault tolerance. So in high availability, like the application is running, like I gave you an example, like you are traveling from Pune to Mumbai, but if your tire is punctured, then in a small interruption, we can say you can interrupt there, like it is a development environment or integration environment, testing environment. You can interrupt your application for a smaller time, but you will quickly come back to it and you will start again progressing it. So that is a high availability. I mean, that means you are available, you are highly available. And fault tolerance, it you cannot have a single point of failure, like where I given you an example of aeroplane. So like if you are flying, and if an issue occurs, there is no time for maintenance, there is no time for repairing. You have to be on live, you have to be keep running, and the application should run. Otherwise it will cost a very huge cost, right? So that is what we'll learn. Now moving forward, so guys, just I'm expecting a small like comment, if it is okay, the pace is okay, the language, or if you want more in Hindi, if you can comment to me in a minute or two, uh, then we can move forward with the uh, other points that have. Okay, thank you Pratik, Bhumika, Shivam, Bhakti, Atharva. And we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the lecture, so that we'll discuss. If you have any questions onto the mic, just park it for some time. Okay, thank you Vikas, thank you Ekta, thank you Prahash. Okay guys, so let's move forward. Okay, so now we will discuss about the delivery models of the cloud. So now we have, just a minute. Okay, so now we have, suppose there are four types of model. We have on premises model, we have infrastructure as a service model, we have platform as a service model, and we have software as a service model. So it is also referred to as what is as PaaS and SaaS. You might have heard it from somewhere, but yeah, so today you will learn everything about it, and it will be very easy if someone asks you what is it. Okay, so now what is on premises? If you can see, there are two colors onto the section. So first one is the blue one and the second one is the orange one. So the blue one is the section that is managed by you, and the orange one is the section is the managed by others. Others as mean, here we are considering others as AWS service. Okay, what AWS is managing, and what we as the customer or the user, that we have to manage on our side. Okay, let's start with the on premises. So on premises, as you can see, everything is blue. Everything we have to manage, like from scratch. We have to manage the networking. Like this is nothing but an example of a traditional client server architecture, right? That we discussed before. We have to manage the networking part, we have to buy the storage part, we have to buy the servers, and then on top of that we have to set the virtualization. Then also we are the ones who have to decide which is the OS that we are going to install. Then what is the middleware that we will be using, then what is the runtime, then what is the data, like that we want to show onto the application, what is the coding part, what is the application that we will be hosting. So everything here we have to manage by our own. So this is the on-premises setup. Okay, now let's move to the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So okay, so being too technical, I'll start with one example. Let's take an example of okay, so let's take an example of a pizza, right? So most of the people love pizza eating, so we'll go with that. Suppose अगर आपको like you have to आपके घर में गेस्ट आ रहे हैं और आपको पिज्ज़ा बनाना है. So there are multiple options, right? Either you can order it, or either you can make it from scratch, or either you can buy a frozen pizza and other options. So now I'll explain it here so that you will understand it in a more better way. So ऑन प्रीमाइसिस में क्या होता है, अगर आपको पिज्जा बनाना है, सपोज इफ लाइक यू आर इन अ विलेज, like you have to manage everything, you have to manage your kitchen, you have to manage your oven, you have to buy all the ingredients, then first you have to make your dough, then you have to you have to use all the olive oils, all the toppings of your choice, then you have to bake it, and then you have to give it to the end user, like the guest that you have, right? So everything you have to manage, like you are doing it from a scratch. Okay, then what is infrastructure as a service? Okay, so let's understand the technical terms first. So managed by you is like we are managing the application, we are managing the coding and the data part of it, the runtime and the middleware programs that we are using, and also the operating system that we will be hosting. So these are the things that we manage. But from this section, what AWS manages: virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. Okay, so these are the components that AWS will manage. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to care about it. These are the only things that you will manage. Someone said EC2, right, into the comment box. So EC2 is the good example of infrastructure as a service model. Okay, so here like you will host the EC2. So I'll come back to what is EC2 service, I have it into the further slides. But yeah, for now consider like you are hosting a compute service, and you only have to take care what you want to host on it, what is the website that you want to host, what are the bootstrapping files and everything. But you don't have to take care about the networking part, the storage part at the backend. AWS will take care of it. Okay, so now going from the example of pizza, in this case it is like you are buying a frozen pizza, वो हल्दीराम का वगैरह आता है ना. So frozen pizza you are buying it, but still you need a, what we can say, oven at your home. You need to cook it, you need to prepare it, you need to manage it for the guests that are coming at your home, right? You cannot simply give them the frozen pizza. It means some of the tasks that you are doing it, but some of the task AWS or the, what we can say, others are managing it for you. Okay, now moving forward, what is platform as a service? So as the name suggests, platform as a service means platform is something which is given you as a service by AWS, and other things you will manage. It means अगर हम यहाँ पे एक line draw करेंगे, so in this you only have to manage your application that you are hosting. For example, Hotstar you are hosting, you only have to manage the application and the data that you will be hosting on it, right? जो डेटा है, जो कोडिंग पार्ट है, जो एप्लीकेशन आपको होस्ट करना है, यू ओनली हैव टू मैनेज दैट. But of the runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, server, storage, networking, everything like the physical hardware components of it, all are managed by AWS. In this case, you do not have to take any tension about it. You just have to manage about the application and the data. It means like इसका भी हम example दे सकते, तो we have like Google App Engine is one of the good example of it. We also have Heroku, right? So it is also an example of a platform as a service. And yeah, going for the like pizza analogy, in this like it is like you are using a pizza kit. So like everything is ready, dough is ready, you have those ready to make sauces. You only have to do the toppings, like whatever the toppings you want, like you want a mushroom topping, you want a non-veg topping, you want a paneer topping, only type of that. Like you will only decide on to what you have to eat, what you want to in technical terms, what you want to host. So you'll only do the topping part and how much amount of cheese that you want, which type of cheese you want, and you will bake it and you will give it to the guest. So you are now thinking more towards to the what we can say, to the application part. You are more focusing on to the data part rather than the underlying infrastructure or the hardware part of it. Okay, and then the last is we have software as a service. Simply the name suggests software as a service is everything is managed by AWS in this case, or everything is managed by the third party or others we say, and you have to do nothing about it. You just have to utilize the service and you have to just use it. Simply it means like what we can say, Gmail is a very good example, right? You are you managing anything of Gmail? No. Are you managing the storage of it? Are you managing the databases of it? Are you managing the hardware components of it? Are you managing if that Gmail is down? Are you going to do any maintenance or repairing? No, you are just simply using Gmail for your day-to-day activities. It means you are the consumer of that software which is provided by AWS or Gmail, as like it is provided by Google. So Google is providing you Gmail as a software, as a service, and we are just using it. We are nothing managing of Gmail, right? And simply, like if I go by pizza analogy, so it like you just simply order like Domino's, right? And 30 minutes you have pizza and you just eat it. You don't have to take any tension, or you just give it to the guest. Don't have to take any tension of it. But yeah, at same point of time, you don't have any customizations, right? So you can just order and you can just utilize, but there is nothing that you have to manage. You just only have to utilize it, and you just have to pay the money. So that is mostly about what are the delivery models of what we can say cloud computing, which are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So any doubts in this, because this is important to understand going forward, like in your cloud journey. So any questions you have in this? Yeah, AWS Lambda is also service. Past example, yeah, Yogita. So as I said, we have a Google App Engine. It is a past example. We have Heroku as a past example, right? So we are managing the applications and the data part of it, but the other like the OS part and everything, that is managed by cloud or by Google in that case. Okay. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? If you have understood this delivery model, can you please give me a thumbs up so that we can go forward? Or if you like the example of a pizza that I gave. Yeah, thank you, Pratik. Thank you so much. So these are the so this was the part that I was telling you at the start. Going forward into the course, right? So we are also launching a course. So I'll explain all the technical terms into the layman terms, where non-technical person can also understand and remembers it for a long period of time. Suppose now, if anybody asks you what is IaaS, PaaS, and software as a service, so you like remember this for a long period of time. Just like you can simply explain using a pizza analogy. Like for on-premises, you have to do everything from scratch. You have to manage everything like cooking, kitchen, then ingredients, oil, and everything. But where infrastructure as a service, you just are ordering frozen pizza, and you are just owing it and baking it, right, and giving it to the customer or the guest in this case. For a platform, you only manage the toppings. Others is managed by you have the kit already, right? So you have ready to make sauces, whereas in sauce you just order it online and you just eat it. You are just a consumer. So these are the simple in very simple examples that I'll give, but you will remember it for a longer period of time, right? So anybody ask you now going forward in your seminars or interviews, what is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, instead of like first give them this example, it will indicate that you know the concept very well. You have a clear understanding of what you're talking about, and then you can always explain it in technical terms, right? Like in on premises we manage everything, in infrastructure we manage OS and the application, in a platform you only manage the application data, whereas in software everything is managed by the third party or the cloud that we are using. So this is a very easy way to explain this to somebody, and they'll also understand that you have a deep in-depth knowledge of what you are talking about. Okay, guys, great. So now let's move forward. I hope it's not boring, or you want to hear any more stories. Okay, we also have one hands-on session at the end, where I will be showing you like how we use AWS cloud. Have anybody used AWS cloud before? Okay, okay, Shivam, yes, yes. Okay, so few a couple of yes. Okay, great. If not also, so yeah, in the course that we are launching, we'll start from very scratch. Like we'll create your free tier account, and then we'll also go through all the 50 plus AWS services from the 200 AWS services that we use. So I have designed a course like from a zero to hero course. Well, like for once you are done with that course, you can simply apply for your cloud practitioner certification. You can also apply for your solution architect certification. So we have also included a multiple, I think around 10 to 15, we have hands-on sessions in that as well. So it will be more crystal clear. Okay, so now going forward, yeah, from the infrastructure, yeah, so we are done with the delivery models. Okay, so now why AWS cloud and why not other clouds? Okay, so we have, you might be hearing about Microsoft Azure. We have also GCP, right? GCP is not that much, but Microsoft Azure is something which is of competition to AWS cloud. Okay, so why I would also recommend you guys to learn AWS cloud is, first of all, it was the first cloud that was launched. Okay, I think in around 2006 it was launched. Microsoft Azure and GCP, it came after a very long time. And if you can see, by if we go by the numbers, so in 2023 the annual billion revenue of 90 billion USD, and it goes again increasing to 107. So revenue is increasing, it means the number of users, the number of customers, the number of large scale MNCs, they are using AWS. And see, if more companies are using AWS for their application, more the employees or more the resources they want who know AWS, right? So, and if you can also see, like AWS has been the leader of the cloud market for around now 13 to 14 years. Yeah, 13 to 13 years, right? Yeah. And it also have 1 lakh plus active users who are daily using AWS. And this is just the number of the active users. So there are many, like I would say, for no 60 to 65% of the companies are there who are using AWS on a daily basis. Like as I said, right, we have Netflix, uh, we have Hotstar, we have like Amazon is the main Amazon.com, from where you buy products, and other like many services. So it is a very what to say, a correct decision. If you want to learn cloud, I would suggest start with AWS. Other than, because if there are, suppose 33%, 30 sorry, yeah, 33 percent of the cloud market that is into the world, AWS holds 33% of it. It means one third of the cloud market is of AWS, and in rest two you have all other clouds, that Azure, GCP, and IBM cloud and other cloud. And as it was the first mover, it was the first which came into the mind, and now most of the companies have already been using it. They are used to the services that offers and everything. So it is a very good choice, I would say, or a safe choice to learn AWS instead of learning Azure and GCP, so that you'll like, it would be easy for you, right, for your career growth, for your future growth, for your salary growth in that terms. And it is very easy to get a job in AWS than in Azure and GCP. It is, you will also have jobs, but comparatively, I'm saying, like suppose if you have 10 jobs in cloud, if let's go with an example, then in this case you will be having 5 jobs of AWS, whereas you will be having 3 jobs of Azure, or 4 jobs of Azure and one of other cloud. So it is safe. That's what I wanted to convey. Okay, now moving forward, what is AWS global infrastructure? Okay, so global infrastructure is right now. So जैसे मैंने कहा, like we are using the services, like we are using Geo Hotstar, we are using Amazon Prime, we are using Amazon.com and Netflix, everything, right? ये हम यहाँ पे घर पे बैठ के हम सब देख रहे हैं, बट समवेयर AWS हैज टू डू इट, राइट? ये हवा से तो जादू तो नहीं हो रहा, किसी ना किसी को तो ये बैकएंड पे मैनेज करना होता है, राइट? सो AWS, there is a AWS global infrastructure, which is divided into multiple regions, multiple availability zones, multiple data centers, multiple edge locations. Okay, so in total they have 36 regions. Okay, so let's go to the site itself. It will be more easy to understand. AWS global infrastructure. Okay, so this is the AWS global infrastructure site. If you can see, so in this region, AWS been hosted, so they are currently in 36 regions, and they are also launching few regions. I think, yeah, the red ones are the regions that they are soon, like in Saudi Arabia is also, it is going to come, in Germany also it is going to come, in Taiwan. So these are the regions which are coming soon for AWS. Currently they have 36 launched regions, 114 availability zones. So what is availability zones? Yeah, so I like, in a short, I would say, like, in a regions we have multiple availability zones, and why it is used for high availability purpose. So now you can connect, right? Availability means high availability, and in a single regions you have multiple availability zones. And what is CloudFront? So CloudFront is basically another service of AWS, so which will reduce the latency. So we'll come back to that, but that is not a point now. Okay, so now suppose if we go to the India region. So if you can see, in India currently we have two regions that supports AWS. So this one is Mumbai, this one is Hyderabad. It was launched in 2022, and then we have Mumbai. So if you can see, in Mumbai there are two zones, and we have three availability zones. So like it would be A, B, C. And similarly for Hyderabad also, which was launched a couple of years back, it has three availability zones. So currently in India, we only have three, like what we say, two regions. So mostly, like you can predict, like the Geo Hotstar, what they are using, their mostly accounts are into the Mumbai region only, right? Because their everything is there only. Then we have other regions, like you can see, sorry, you can see here, like we have Spain region, then we have Europe, Stockholm region, Frankfurt region, Ireland region. So these are all the regions. That London region also we have. So these are the regions of the AWS. So this is nothing but the AWS global infrastructure, where you can see regions, then where you can see availability zones, and what are the regions that are coming. So this is South Polo region, which was launched. So this is the map of the global infrastructure. So there is nothing more into it, just wanted to give an overview. So does anybody know which was the first AWS region that was launched and when? Can anybody answer? Guys, am I audible? At least say no, yes, anything, or you don't know. See, let's keep this an interactive, at least from the chat point of view, so that I'm able to understand that. Okay, no idea. Okay, no issues. US, yeah, US is great, but I want to know the name of the region. So US is like a country here. You are saying Shivam and Benezer. Okay, so it's not that important. So the first region that AWS launched was North Virginia region. So it is the US East region, and it was created in 2006. Okay, and why I'm focusing on this point, right? What was the first region? Because I wanted to give here an important tip. Like, suppose if you are creating an AWS free tier account, right? Whenever you are creating, mostly, and if you are trying to create any resources, right, for your testing purpose, for your learning purpose, always do it in North Virginia region. Why? Because that was the first region, and it has all the flexibility. And there are also few few what we can say, the modifications or the enhancements that AWS do. They always try and test it into the North Virginia region. So it is very safe, and it is a very like what I would say, a good choice to go with the North Virginia region when you are creating a free tier account to create your AWS resources. Okay, so that was the point I wanted to convey. And yeah. Okay, so moving forward, what is the shared responsibility model? So what is the shared, as you can see by the name, what is shared responsibility model says? So it means, if you can see the first half of the diagram, it is what is the customer's responsibility for the security in the cloud. It means what is our responsibility, what is our role into the responsibility model, and what is AWS responsibility into the security, right? So the very first point to remember here is the word in and off. Okay, so as a customer, as a user, our responsibility for the security is in the cloud. It means, suppose ये आपका cloud है, or let's say it has a VPC. What is VPC? I'll come back into the next slide. We have the slide. So what is into the cloud, right? So whatever you are creating into the VPC here, what are the resources that you are creating? Like, what is the compute resources, networking resources, or all the other resources that you are creating that is your responsibility. I mean, suppose if you are creating any EC2 instance, the security of that hello, hello, Pranay, can you please mute? Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying, whatever the resources that you create in your cloud, the security of that resources is total your responsibility. Like for example, you have created EC2 instance, you have created S3 bucket. So the security of that resource is total your responsibility. AWS will not look into it. It is total your responsibility. If there is any loss of data, any breach, AWS will not take any charge of it. It's your data, it's you who are handling. So if you can see in the cloud, it means the customer data, like suppose in S3 bucket you are keeping some files, right? You are keeping some objects, then that is total your responsibility. Second thing, platform applications identity and access management. It means suppose if there is a bucket is nothing but a storage service of AWS. I'll also come to it. So identity and access management means in this bucket, suppose if you have any confidential document, we say, okay, that is only like you have to give only access to a certain number of users, but unfortunately it is publicly accessible, and now this document is gone, anybody can see onto the internet. But then AWS will say it is not my responsibility, as that bucket is into the AWS cloud, it is into your VPC, it is your responsibility, and you could have managed that using identity and access management. Who has the access to that bucket, who doesn't have? So that is also our responsibility. Third thing, what is the operating system that we are using? So what is the operating system that we will be using for creating EC2 instance? That is our responsibility. What are the network and firewall configurations? That means what is the subnet, what are the routing, internet gateway, transit gateway, everything, that every part is our responsibility. AWS will not manage it. And it's okay if you are not able to understand what is what are the resources that I'm talking about. You will get to understand it further. What is transit gateway, what is internet gateway. Okay, and other thing is what is client side data, what is data integrity, what is server side encryption, networking traffic protection, integrity, identity, everything. So this is something that we have to take care of our application. It means the responsibility for the security in the cloud. So when I did certification, I still remember there was one question where that it was on the shared responsibility model. It was saying what AWS manage and what customer manage, right? So there was in the option there was server side encryption, and then you have compute storage and other options. So this was the correct answer. So it you can also have a question on what is in the cloud, what is off the cloud. So please remember these words, it is very important. Okay, now moving forward, what is AWS responsibility? So it's responsibility for the securities of the cloud. Of the cloud means suppose this is your AWS global infrastructure. Okay, and here this is your cloud, right? VPC as a. So as the name suggests, in the cloud means whatever you provision inside this cloud, this is your responsibility, and whatever is outside the cloud, I mean off the cloud, everything, this responsibility of AWS. So they will take care of all the compute, that is all the EC2 instances that you use, all the storage part like this simple storage service that you will using, all the databases like DynamoDB, we have RDS, we have Postgres database other, and the networking part, that is the VPC, subnets, route tables, and everything. AWS will take care of it. And also the hardware and global infrastructure, as I showed, what are the regions. So how many regions we have 36 regions, we have 114 availability zones, and we have multiple edge locations as well. So this everything AWS will take hold of it, take the responsibility of security of this part of it. We don't have to think of it, and for this we have to think. Okay, so it's like if you can see from the traditional, and if you can compare now into your mind, हियर आई मीन हम सब यहाँ पे अपने अपने डेटा पे, अपने एप्लीकेशन पे, अपने कोडिंग पे वी आर मोर फोकसिंग टूवर्ड्स इट, एंड वॉट एवर इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट टू अस, जैसे वॉट एवर द फिजिकल हार्डवेयर हो गया, वॉट एवर जो रीजन्स हो गए, लेटेंसी हो गया, डेटाबेस हो गया, नेटवर्किंग हो गया, स्टोरेज हो गया, दोज ऑल इज बीन टेकन केयर ऑफ AWS. वो सब उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. And responsibility, as in I'm saying responsibility of security as well. So this is the shared responsibility model of security. So they are taking care of it, moreover they are also taking care of the security of it, right? Like for example, if there is a suppose if there is a server where somewhere hosting in US, you don't have to think like oh secured hai ki nahi. They are taking care of it, like the physical security, there will be a security guard, there will also be a security what you can say firewall security on that servers, and all types of there should not happen DDoS attack and all attacks. There will be multiple guardrails, there will be certain SCPs that are attached. So that is all been taken care of AWS. You don't have to even think of it. You just have to focus on your application, your data, your customer. So this is the benefit that I was talking at the start of the a session. This is the benefit that cloud gives you. You are more focusing your things, not on the unnecessary what you can say the hardware and the components that AWS will manage. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, so now let's move to the networking part of it. So in a simple word, what do you understand by networking? Can you type into the chat box a simple one liner? And today I'll explain it with you a very good example, and you will like remember it for the rest of your life if somebody asks you what is networking. And like in a layman terms, you can explain it to anyone. Okay. Okay, networking is the process of connecting computers and other devices to share resources and communicate with each other. That's a perfectly right answer, Shivam. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to this slide. Okay, so now as you most of the candidates are from BCA, right? You are already in computers. I don't have to explain it more, but yeah, I'll still try to explain if someone is from the non-technical background. So what is networking? So basically now here we are talking about the networking in cloud, networking in AWS cloud. Okay, so suppose so as written, network are the roads that allow your data to move from one device to the another device. Network connects to other networks to allow data to move to the remote device. So basically networking is nothing like you can compare so here what we'll talk in technical terms, we'll talk about networks, right? And in layman terms, we'll talk about neighborhoods, so that we can simply understand, and if like a non-technical person can also understand what is networking. So here networking is nothing but the, as I say, it allows networks to allow data from one place to another. Like in a neighborhood we have roads, right? So roads are, this is nothing but a networking. So we have done the networking, we have the routes, we have the roads, so from where data can move from one place to another. Okay, now as as Shivam also explained in the chat box. So here, if you can see in the networking, now we have houses. So these houses, like in our neighborhood, right? We also suppose if we consider about a single lane. So on that road, the road is connecting to the multiple number of houses, right? So we have house number one, two, three, and so on. Similarly, here we have computers. So here the computers will be connected via this network remotely, so that they can access the data, they can access the traffic. Okay, nothing rocket science, is easy to understand. Moving forward, so what is so if you can see here, we have the cars. Now we have cars onto the roads. So this car is nothing but, this is the data, this is the data that has been passing through this network routes through to the houses, as in we can say the computers in technical terms. So this is how the data moves across the network. This is very a simple analogy. So if I have to explain this in cloud terminology, okay, so let's draw here a cloud terminology as well. Okay, so suppose in you have what we can say networks and neighborhood. Okay, so first thing is, okay, so roads we have, right? So in roads we have subsection, right? So we have cross sections in roads. It means in cloud we have subnets. I'll come to this in details, but right now for just understand what is subnet. So subnet is nothing but a subsection of network that we have in cloud. Okay, Then we here we have data. Sorry, we have here roads. Sorry, roads. Here we have routes, or we can say routes tables we have, in which we define the paths from where that data should transfer. Okay. In here, then suppose at the start of the house we have gate, right? Who should enter, who should not. Here we have rules, right? We have knuckle rules, we have security groups, right? So these are nothing but the security that we are applying. So this kind of terminology I will explain in the course, so that it will be very easy for you to understand for the long run. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so now what is VPC? So let's go by the technical definition first, and then I explain it in a more easier way. So what is VPC? VPC is Amazon VPC. It is provision logically isolated section of the AWS cloud. Okay, where you can launch your AWS resources in a virtual network that you define. Okay, you have complete control over the virtual networking environment, including selection of your own IP address range, creation of subnets that I was talking about. Subnets is nothing but the subsection of the network, as if we split the words. And then the configuration of the route tables. Route tables is nothing but the routes that we define, and the network gateways. So the gateways that I was talking about. Okay, so what is VPC? So suppose, if in layman terms, if I have to put it, suppose this is a cake, right? This cake is nothing but a AWS cloud. Okay, and you if you go to a birthday party, you take your piece of cake to eat, right? This is nothing but your VPC. Okay, in short, it is nothing but a piece of cake that you are using for your resources, for your application to host. Like this is AWS cloud and this is VPC. It is a small section of what we can say, small section of cloud, where you can do all the network configurations. You can define your IP address ranges, you can create your subnets, your routes, your EC2 instances, your network gateways, other things, and all the other resources. So in VPC we have subnets, where you can do the subsection of the networks. Okay, so is VPC clear, or any doubt do you have in VPC? If you have any, please post, so that I'll answer regarding VPC, because VPC is the most important service of AWS cloud, because it falls under the networking part. Like, so okay, so in AWS cloud we have three main categories: the compute services, the networking services, the storage services. Okay, so in networking, very important is VPC. So whenever any application, everything you have to do from starting from creating a VPC. So it is very important to understand what VPC is. I mean, the framework of it in high level. We are not going in too much detail, but at least you should understand what VPC. If someone asks you what is a VPC, then you should be able to like tell them. So VPC is nothing but a subsection of the cloud, like AWS cloud, that we are using to create our own resources, and we can define all the, like it, we have full control over it, and we can define the address range, we can create the subnets, we can configure the route tables, we can do the NAT gateways, we can host the application, everything. So any questions in VPC? If you have, type. If you have, type no, no questions, so that we can move to the other service of AWS. So quickly wrap the theory session. We just have three slides more, and then we'll quickly go to the hands-on session. We'll host a static website, and it is a simple hands-on demo, but you will understand how like how the services are used. All right. Okay. So no questions. Okay. So moving forward. Okay, so what is a EC2? Okay, so if we simply what is EC2 is, if you go by the name, EC2 is stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It means it is the compute service of AWS, and as the name suggests, elastic, and as we have learned the benefits of cloud, right? Elasticity means it can scale up, it can scale down. While creating, we can have that authority, or we can have that choice. How do you want to create? So it is nothing but it provides a scalable computing capacity into the AWS cloud. Also, it eliminates your need to invest in hardware, yeah, as we discussed, so you can deploy the applications faster. Third point is we can use the Amazon EC2 to launch many servers. We can configure security, many storage, correct? So we can manage as we discussed in VPC. And Amazon EC2 enables you to scale up or down. So that is nothing but the elasticity word that we have already discussed, to handle the changes in requirements or spikes in popularity. So as we discussed the example of Dhoni getting out, or like when it comes to strike, and reducing your need for forecast of it. Okay, so if you understand it by the traditional approach, EC2 is nothing but, like, think of it like EC2 is a compute capacity that you will be using. So it's like basically your virtual computer, I can say, right? So in computer, what you have OS, right? Linux or Windows. In this EC2 you will create AMIs, Amazon Machine Image, that will be nothing but the OS of that EC2. Then in like for a PC, you have a chip, right? You have a CPU. But in EC2 we have instance type, where you can select also it is a T2 micro, T3 micro, or M5 large. So that type is not instance type, is nothing but there are specific different types of instances that AWS have created, which we can use for a specific purpose, and also there is a cost attached to it. So that is there. Then for storage, like for system, like we have hard drive, like here we have local storage, we have EBS, we have S3 object level storage, we have EFS and other storage. Then from computer you can connect to the like you can connect to the routers, say like here in EC2 we have IP addresses, public IP addresses, IPv4 addresses, and elastic addresses through which we can connect to the internet. Then again for the system, right, we also have security groups. As I said, right, security groups are nothing but they are the firewall, we can say, that we will be applying to our EC2 instances. Because if I mean then it will be only accessible through a certain IP address range, or to a certain user, not everybody can access it. And then you have the RAM that we have, right? So this is EC2. So EC2 is nothing but it is a computing service of AWS, which you will be using to host your application. It can scale up, scale down as per your needs, and then you have choices to select what is the image that you want. You also have a choice to select what is the type, that is a T2 type, or based on the, I mean, there are different types based on your use cases. You can use one of them. And then for the storage you can use it also have its own storage, EBS, and also externally you can attach S3 and other things. So this is more about EC2. Then what is S3? So S3 is a very important service of AWS. It is a core service of AWS. S3 stands for S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So as the name suggests. So why the name is simple? Because it is very simple to understand. It is very simple to use. Storage is nothing but it suggests that it is a storage service of AWS, and service, as the name suggests, service. Okay, that's why they have given the name S3. And okay, so if we go by the technical definition, Amazon S3 has a simple web service interface that you can use to store and retrieve any amount of data at any point of time from anywhere into the web. Okay, it gives any user access, reliable, highly scalable, reliable, fast, inexpensive data storage. So if you see, these are the terms that we have been using for long time, right? So ये जो कुछ words है जो हमेशा हम cloud में use करेंगे, highly scalable, then elasticity, then reliable, then highly availability, then fast, then less cost, then elasticity. So these are the benefits of the cloud, which we can see for all the services that AWS is offering us. Okay, then we have fast, inexpensive data storage infrastructure that Amazon uses to run its global network of websites. The service aims to maximize benefits of scale and to pass those benefits on to the user. So like scalability is also here defined. Okay, so in simple terms मैं अगर बोलूँ, so S3 is like, S3 is nothing but a object level storage. So suppose if you are in S3, like in our computers, right, we create a new folder if we want to store anything. In S3 we create a bucket. In bucket is nothing but a folder. So in computer you have folder, in S3 you have what we can say object. So in folder you store multiple files, in objects you store multiple files. So it is a object level storage. If you can see here, S3 bucket, it means so like folder को आप नाम देते हो, right? My documents, suppose. So here in S3 you have bucket name. So my bucket name is suppose test bucket. And like if you have used it for any particular application, then you will name it accordingly. So here you have bucket level storage in which you can store the object. It is also called object level storage, in which you can store all your files and folders, and then that files and folders can be accessible to anyone globally. If you can see, if it gives any user access to the same highly reliable fast experience and that Amazon uses to run its global network of websites. So whatever object or whatever files you store here, right, anybody can access it if you give them the access, if you give them those website links. Okay, so this is nothing but the S3. So we have a demo on S3 hands-on session, so you'll understand more. So I think I'm done with the slide. Any questions that you have? Any question related to whatever we have done so far? Any questions? Like what did not understand about IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and then what are the benefits of cloud? What were the challenges we were facing in traditional architecture? What is EC2, VPC, global infrastructure, S3? Anything? No. Okay. Any more? Any questions? Okay. Thank you for your responses. Okay, so now we are moving to the last part of the session, and this is the interesting one. Okay, so now what we have learned, we will do a hands-on session, a quick hands-on session I will do, so that you will be able to understand. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this is the like, okay, I'll go from start. AWS account. I will AWS account sign in. Okay, so I'll go to this page. Okay, so now okay, what happened actually, in the course that we are going to launch soon, we'll also create an what I'm saying, we'll also create a account from scratch. But for the demo purpose, I will not be showing you how to create a free tier account. I have created one account, and I'll simply, what I say, I'll simply log into that account using the IAM user. Okay, so I'll explain that as well. Okay, so in the interest of time, we cannot like touch every service, but yeah. Okay, so AWS uh, okay. AWS management console. Okay, so right now I was testing some things into the Stockholm region, so I am like using this region for now. But as I said, we will be doing all the hands-on practices, or I would recommend, if you are creating any account, always use this North Virginia region, because it was the first region launched where you have all the like all the services to use, and they will be highly available. So see, when we saw into the global infrastructure, right, so these are all the regions here. You can see, you can also see Mumbai region here, where it is, yeah, Mumbai here. Mumbai region is also here. So Frankfurt, Ireland, and so you can see the regions here, and you can select which region you want to use for creating your resources. So I would suggest go with North Virginia. Then this is nothing but the AWS like home page, we can say. This is the home tab. If you click here, you come on to this. Then here you can see all of this all these services that they have mentioned, as per like, if you want to do it for business application, compute services, anything. Also, moreover, you want anything, you can just simply type here and search. Like we discussed about VPC, right? So if I type VPC, I can like open VPC. Similarly, if you want EC2, I'll just type here and I'll open it. Okay, so see, here you can create a VPC that I was talking about. Then we have subnets, route tables, and anything. So if you can see, currently there is one VPC which was created by default whenever our account was created, and this is the IP address and many things. So this is not the scope of this lecture, but yeah, I just wanted to give you an overview. Then again, EC2, as I said, so we can launch an instance, right? So think I said EC2 को आप ऐसे याद रखिए कि जैसे आपको एक वर्चुअल कंप्यूटर बनाना है, तो आप इसको नाम दोगे, देन यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट द ओएस, राइट? सो यू कैन चेक, यू कैन टेक ऑफ Amazon Linux, Mac OS, और एनी ओएस दैट यू वांट एज पर योर नीड, एंड देन Amazon मशीन यहाँ पे सिलेक्टेड हो गया. ओके, देन इंस्टेंस टाइप इज नथिंग बट व्हाट टाइप ऑफ सीपीयू, हम ऐसे सोच सकते हैं कि कैसा टाइप ऑफ सीपीयू आपको आपके कंप्यूटर के लिए चाहिए, T2 माइक्रो, T3 माइक्रो, और इसके सब मेमोरी और जो कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है यहाँ पे लिखे गए. Similarly, logging key pair you would require to SSH and other things. Yeah, so this is just a short glimpse. Okay. Okay, so now what I would do is we'll do a hands-on session. Will what I would do is I make bucket बनाऊंगा और आपको स्टार्ट से दिखाता हूँ. हम यहाँ पे एक स्टैटिक वेबसाइट होस्ट करके हम जो अपने मतलब वेबसाइट होस्ट करेंगे, ताकि जो हम वो लिंक किसी और को देंगे, दे कैन ऑल्सो एबल टू व्यू दैट what is onto the website, but it is not a dynamic, it is a static. It is just to understand the S3 service, to understand how the permissions are given, to understand what are the how we can enable the website hosting and other things, and mostly using the S3 bucket service. Okay, so I'll come from start again. I created on the S3, so you can see scalable storage in the cloud. Okay, so now हम यहाँ पे S3 में आ गए. So here we can see I can create a bucket, so I am creating a bucket. Okay, so creating a bucket, so firstly for the bucket you have to give the name of the bucket, and the name of the bucket, remember, it should be a global namespace. It means that bucket name should not be used anywhere by anyone. Okay, so like for example, suppose if I create test bucket, okay, and if I go and okay, create bucket, it will not create. Okay, it will not get. Why? Because the test name has already been taken by anyone. It should be what I said, it should be globally unique. Okay, so I'll say website static kw, for example. Okay, let's see if this name we can take. Okay, so this is the bucket name. For the demo purpose, I'll keep all the configuration as default, and I'll just create the bucket. Okay, so that namespace was not used by anyone globally, so we are able to create the bucket. So see here. Okay, now what I would do is I want to do the static website hosting. So if you can see into the properties tab, here we have object lock requirements, static website hosting. Use this bucket to host a website or redirect request. Okay, so it is disabled, so I will edit it and I will make it enable, so that it will give us the URL. So host a static website. Okay, index document is what specify the home or the default page of the website. Okay, it means there is a website that they are sorry, the link that they are giving us to us, but what you want to host on that link, what should be your home page. So any document, so actually I have created one document like index.html, so I'll give that name here. Okay, okay, so we have given that name. Error document, no, it's optional. Okay, so save changes. Hmm? So now you can see if I go to the buckets, if I go to this bucket which we have created, and if I go to the properties tab, now I have the static website hosting enabled, and this is the link that I can, this is the hyperlink rather, that I can use for viewing my page. Okay, so let's click and see what we can see. Oh, oh no. Okay, so it what it says, access denied, message access denied, host request ID, and other things. Okay, so now it says that our access is denied. Okay, it means nobody has that access to that bucket. Okay, so okay, just a minute. Meanwhile, uh, we want to upload the objects, right? Because we have given that index.html file, right? But we have not uploaded the objects. So how will it get those objects? So I will just index. I will just upload those documents so that we can use that HTML file to load. Okay. So now we have the document. Now let me, will it be visible? No, because we have access denied permission. Okay. So now let's change the access setting. So here we'll go to the bucket again. So this, we are already into the bucket. We are properties, we have seen. For the permissions, we'll see if you can see block all public access, and it is on. It means the public access is blocked currently. So now we will remove that. It is a not good, it is not a good practice in production or into the applications, important applications that you have. But currently for the demo purpose, we'll see. Okay, so now I have removed the block all public access. It means, okay, so I have to confirm this once. Confirm. Okay, so now the public access is been enabled. It says block all is off. It means it is allowed. Okay, now I have to, okay, now it is done. So I'll just come to the object, and I also have the files, and now let's refresh and see. No, still it is giving me the error. So now what is missing? Let's see. So in properties we have enabled, that's why we have the link. Okay, in permissions we have also allowed, yeah. But if you can see in the bucket policy, we have to write a policy here. What says the bucket policy written in JSON provide access to the object stored in the bucket. It means even if we have made that as what we say a hyperlink as a allowed for public, but we cannot view the objects that we have into that bucket, because we in the bucket policy we have not defined that. So now I will define that policy as well. So I have that policy handy which I prepared. So just to give it, so this is the policy. So if you can simply see, I'll explain this you as well in detail. So if you can see, this is the, okay, we have to edit it, and paste it. Okay, so see, this is nothing but this is the version of the policy. We don't have to think anything about it. See, this is a systematic ID that public. See, this is the like systematic ID public read get object. This is also not important. What important here is effect is allow, and so we are allowing the effect. And what effect we are allowing? What action we are allowing? S3 get object. It means for the S3 bucket, we are allowing the object to see, because the effect is allow. And on what resource? This is the AWS cloud. In the S3 service, we have this bucket. Okay, so now here the bucket name will change. So I am like giving here the bucket name. Control C, con- Control V, and okay. Okay, so now if you can go through the policy again, we can see, so we have allowed the action of the get object on which resource? Onto the AWS S3 bucket. This is the bucket name, and here if you can see this wildcard or this asterisk or this star mark, it means for all the objects onto that bucket. Okay, so now we have given this permission into the bucket policy. Save changes. Okay, okay, so now it is ready. So now let's see again what are the things that we have done. We have created the bucket. I'll go to the bucket. We have created this bucket. We have uploaded this object. This object is nothing but the HTML file where we have that code, a small piece of code. Okay, and this is the image that I am going to like show you now. This is the properties. In properties we have enabled the static website hosting. That's why we have this link. Okay, and then in permissions tab, first of all we were not having public access, so we have enabled that. And then we also have added the bucket policy, so that whatever objects are there into that S3 bucket, anybody can see it. So now if I refresh this, see, now you will be able to see the object from that bucket. And now this is hosting. So suppose if I give this link to you, just check, and guys let me know if you are able to view it as well. And if you are able to view it, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, or you can react to that message. You can thumbs up to that message if you are able to see uh, the home page that we have created. Okay, thank you Vikas, thank you Benazar, thank you Abhijit, thank you Mahi, thank you Richa, Namrata, Bhumika, Jigar, Atharva, Pratik, thank you Ekta, thank you Pooja, thank you Yogesh. So Sujal, are you not able to view it? Can you please check the internet connection? Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Shrikant. Thank you, Vedant. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you, Bhakti. Thank you, Amrut, Anish, Yogesh. Okay, great, guys. Thank you so much. So now let's move forward. I'll not take much of your time now. Okay. So yeah, for the certificate, that the workshop that we did in a short span of time, so you can just go to the link info@knowledgeware.in, and you can get your certificate from that link, so that you can showcase it onto the platforms, or wherever, like you have to show that you have to do the basics of cloud. So yeah, kindly use that link info@knowledgeware.in, or if you want, I'll quickly type it here as well for ease. Knowledgeware.in. Okay, so I have also I'll just pin that. I have also pinned that link. So info at knowledgeware.in. So you can use that link for your certificate, for your course completion certificate. And yeah, so uh, I would just take more 5 minutes, and I'll just wrap it up what we have learned so far in a 2 hours. Or if anybody wants to take that opportunity, or should I do it myself? Anybody taking an initiative? Come on, guys, nobody is going to judge you here. We are all here to learn and grow. Anybody wants to summarize? Can unmute and speak. Well, at least just start, then I'll come and add upon the things. Am I audible, guys? Actually, I'm not getting any response, so I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so nonetheless, I'll I'll just wrap it up for you all. Okay, so in 4 minutes now, I have 1 minute less. So what we have learned so far. Okay, so let's go from the start. So at the very first start, we saw what were the challenges, क्या challenges थे with traditional architecture, what were the business challenges. It was cost, it was maintenance, it was server security, networking, everything, physical structure and everything. और वो टाइम भी बहुत ज़्यादा लेता था, इसलिए then cloud came into the picture and it solved all the problems. Like आप जो भी सर्विस आपको चाहिए आप पे करते हो बस उसी टाइम के लिए जितना आप यूज़ करोगे, आप उसके लिए कोई अपफ्रंट कॉस्ट नहीं दे रहे हो, यू आर नॉट पेइंग एनी मेंटेनेंस कॉस्ट. ऑल्सो यू कैन गो ग्लोबल इन मिनट्स. पहले जैसे नहीं आपको महीना भर रुकना पड़ता, आपको कुछ एप्लीकेशन चाहिए आप AWS क्लाउड में EC2 को इन मिनट्स आप उसको लाइव कर सकते हो. सो ऑल पे एज यू गो मॉडल, you are renting here, you are not buying like an traditional architecture, right? Diagram. So इस so these are the more benefits of the cloud. उसके बाद हमने जो 4 major benefits of the cloud क्या देखे, scalability, elasticity, high availability and fault tolerance. तो scalability में हमने देखा जैसे लाइक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ व्हेन धोनी कम्स टू क्रीज द नंबर ऑफ यूजर्स ऑन द हॉटस्टार गोज हाई, तो उसको स्केलेबिलिटी है, वो बैकएंड पे एडब्ल्यूएस यूज कर रहा है, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज एबल टू स्केल एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। सिमिलरली सेम एग्जांपल को अगर हम कंटिन्यू करें, अगर वो आते हैं और अगर फर्स्ट बॉल पे ही आउट आ जाते हैं, देन धोनी फैंस दे लीव द हॉटस्टार ऐप, राइट? सो सिमिलरली काउंट एकदम डाउन हो जाता है। देन द हॉटस्टार शुड ऑल्सो हैव दैट कैपेबिलिटी एट द बैक एंड कि अगर लाइक 2 करोड़ से मुझे अगर 50 lakhs पे यूजर्स आ रहे हैं, तो आई शुड ओनली यूज द कंप्यूट कैपेसिटी फॉर 50 lakh यूजर्स, बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू स्पेंड मोर इफ आई डू नॉट हैव 2 crore यूजर ऑन द हॉटस्टार एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। सो वो इलास्टिसिटी भी चाहिए, रिडक्शन भी उसको करना आना चाहिए, नॉट ओनली टू स्केल। सो स्केलेबिलिटी हो गया, इलास्टिसिटी हो गया, then we have high availability. In high availability we discussed with the diagram of like sorry example of like we are going from Pune to Mumbai, और अगर आपकी कार पंक्चर हो जाते, then you change the tire and you become highly available in a short span of time. Then we discuss what is fault tolerant. Fault tolerant मतलब क्या है कि अगर आप प्लेन से जा रहे हो, then you do not have a single point of failure, you cannot fail at that point of time, anything has to be, everything has to be working fine correctly, और उसको recovery mechanism होना चाहिए. So there are more terms like auto time recovery and all that we will learn इन द कोर्स। सो वो एक हो गया, ठीक है। उसके बाद हमने देखा व्हाट आर द डिलीवरी मॉडल्स इन क्लाउड। सो वी लर्न अबाउट ऑन प्रीमाइसेस, IaaS, उसके बाद PaaS एंड देन SaaS, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज अ सर्विस, प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस, सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस। इसको अगर हमने सिंपली समझा था पिज्जा के एग्जांपल से, ऑन प्रीमाइसेस में सपोज लाइक यू आर इन अ विलेज और आपको गेस्ट के लिए पिज्जा बनाए, तो सबको सब कुछ आप ही को करना पड़ता है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम किचन, सॉस, एवरीथिंग, डो एवरीथिंग। whereas अगर ऑन प्रीमाइसेस है, ऑन प्रीमाइस सॉरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, इट मीन्स यू आर बाइंग व्हाट वी कैन से फ्रोजन पिज्जा, और आपको बस कुछ चीज़ों का ध्यान रखना है बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी हैव अ फ्रोजन पिज्जा। फ्रॉम फॉर प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस यू आर बाइंग अ पिज्जा किट जिसमें सॉसेस वगैरह सब है, आपको बस टॉपिंग्स और बेकिंग का ध्यान रखना है, लाइक एन एप्लीकेशन और डेटा। For a software as a service, it is nothing but you simply have to order it, you have to eat it. It means like Gmail, you simply are consuming it, आपको उसका कुछ टेंशन ही नहीं है बैकएंड पे क्या हो रहा है, सब एवरीथिंग इज मैनेज बाय गूगल, राइट? सो ये हो गया अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एज अ सर्विस, सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस, प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस। ओके, उसके बाद देन फिर हमने शेयर्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, सिक्योरिटी शेयर्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मॉडल देखा कि AWS क्या करता है और हम क्या करते हैं। तो हमारी मोस्टली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है इन द क्लाउड, इन द क्लाउड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड व्हाट इज AWS रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द क्लाउड, जो हमारे बाहर का जो पूरे क्लाउड का है, AWS विल मैनेज, वी विल मैनेज इन द क्लाउड। ओके, फिर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड हमने देखा नेटवर्किंग क्या होता है। नेटवर्किंग में हमने देखा कि लाइक नेबरहुड से कंपेयर करके रोड्स मतलब नेटवर्क्स है, जो हमारे घर है, दोज आर लाइक कंप्यूटर्स, एंड व्हाट आर द कार्स मूविंग, इट इज लाइक नथिंग बट द डेटा मूविंग। लाइक इन AWS वी हैव सबनेट्स, वी हैव राउट टेबल्स, वी हैव इंटरनेट गेटवेज एंड विल एंड मेनी मोर थिंग्स। ओके, दैट कम्स अंडर द नेटवर्किंग। फिर नेटवर्किंग का मेन जो कंपोनेंट सर्विस है AWS का, वो हमने देखी कि व्हाट इज VPC, वर्चुअल प्राइवेट क्लाउड। इसको सिंपल भाषा में बोलूँ तो लाइक सपोज AWS इज अ होल पीस ऑफ केक, और जो उसमें से आप अपना पीस ऑफ केक लोगे, दैट इज नथिंग बट योर VPC, योर पीस ऑफ क्लाउड। ठीक है, उसमें आप आपको जो चाहिए वो सब रिसोर्सेज प्रोविजन करके आप एप्लीकेशंस डिप्लॉय कर सकते हो। सेकंड, वी लर्न व्हाट इज अबाउट EC2। EC2 इज नथिंग बट ए इलास्टिक कंप्यूट क्लाउड, मतलब ये कंप्यूटिंग सर्विस है। और जैसे मैंने इसको लेमन टर्म्स में समझा है, थिंक ऑफ इट एज योर वर्चुअल कंप्यूटर। जैसे उसमें भी आपको CPU लगता है, इसमें यू विल सिलेक्ट व्हाट इज योर इंस्टेंस टाइप। जैसे उसमें आपको स्टोरेज लगता है, इसमें EBS रहेगा, आप S3 भी यूज कर सकते हो। देन अगेन यू हैव लाइक सिक्योरिटी रूल्स, इसमें आपके सिक्योरिटी ग्रुप्स रहेंगे। सो इट्स नथिंग बट अ कंप्यूटिंग, इट्स अ वर्चुअल कंप्यूटर दैट यू विल बी यूजिंग, और इसी पे आप आपके एप्लीकेशन होस्ट करोगे। Okay, then for storage, like we learned about the S3 service. What is S3? Simple storage service. It is very simple to use. It is a storage service of AWS जिसपे हम वेबसाइट वगैरह होस्ट कर सकते हैं। इट इज़ नथिंग बट ऑब्जेक्ट लेवल स्टोरेज। जैसे हम फोल्डर्स बनाते हैं, उसमें हम ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाते हैं, बकेट्स बनाते हैं, रादर बकेट्स में हम ऑब्जेक्ट्स को स्टोर करते हैं। और फिर हमने एक हैंड्स ऑन सेशन भी लिया, जिसने हमने ये देखा कि हम स्टैटिक वेबसाइट कैसे होस्ट करते हैं। तो उसमें भी हमने पहले देखा कि हमने पहले बकेट बनाई, उसका नेमिंग कन्वेंशन है जो ग्लोबली यूनिक होना चाहिए, क्योंकि किसी ने और लिया होगा तो यू कैन नॉट क्रिएट। सेकेंड थिंग, हमने उसमें फिर अपने कुछ जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स थे, जैसे कुछ फाइल्स थे, वो उस पर अपलोड किए। जैसे मैंने index.html फाइल अपलोड की और एक इमेज अपलोड की। ठीक है, उसके बाद फिर मैंने उसकी स्टैटिक वेबसाइट होस्टिंग की जो फीचर है इन द प्रॉपर्टीज टैब, मैंने उसको एनेबल किया। बट जब मैंने उसको एनेबल किया और मैंने उस हाइपरलिंक को क्लिक किया, आई वाज नॉट एबल टू सी, व्हाई? बिकॉज परमिशंस वर डिनाइड। ठीक है, फिर मैंने क्या किया, मैंने ब्लॉक ऑल जो पब्लिक एक्सेस ऑन था उसको अनब्लॉक किया। Then I tried to reach that link, but still I was unable to see the content. Why? Because on that link वो पब्लिकली एक्सेस तो था बकेट, बट उसके अंदर जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स है उस पे एक्सेस अभी भी नहीं था. देन आई डिफाइंड अ पॉलिसी वेयर इन द इफेक्ट्स टैब आई अलाउड द एक्शन फॉर द गेटिंग द ऑब्जेक्ट्स. आई मीन जो उस बकेट में उस जो ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं वो मुझे दिखने चाहिए, और मैंने नीचे बकेट का नाम लिख दिया कि कौन से बकेट के ऑब्जेक्ट दिखने चाहिए, और वो मैंने पॉलिसी एनेबल कर दी. Then whenever I hit the URL again, we were able to see that congratulations that we have completed the AWS workshop and that trophy symbol, right? So that was a trophy image that I uploaded into the S3 bucket. Okay, so this was the hands-on session. So like this is the overall in, I took actually 2 to 3 minutes more. In 7 minutes, what we have learned in these 2 hours. Any questions, guys? Now, please shoot, and I'll answer. Okay. Certificate can't download. Okay, okay. I have pasted the link. I think the team will look into it. I'll check with the team, knowledgeware team, how you can download the certificate. So be rest assured you will get that. So uh, and yeah, so also the one important thing that I wanted to highlight here is, so we are soon launching a course like AWS zero to hero course, right? So here, so we will be having multiple services of AWS. So I will be starting from scratch as we did here, right? And then we go into the more technical depth of each and every service that is required. And I can 100% assure you, if we go through that course, you will be able to clear your AWS cloud practitioner exam with flying colors. And also you will be ready to go for the AWS solution architect associate level certificate. And it will also ensure you that you will be have a knowledge of around 2 to 2.5 years of experience cloud person who is really working in IT industry. But by going through that course, you will have that knowledge, because we will be doing multiple hands on. I will be giving you multiple examples and everything, so that you will have that confidence. And it will also boost you in getting placements. So right now, for example, suppose you will be getting like 5 lakh package if you go for this course, because it is very hot. Cloud and DevOps technology is very hot into the market right now. It can simply boost your salary range. So think from that point of view. And yeah, so that's it from my end. Any questions you have? Okay. And again, thank you so much for listening to me, for being such a wonderful audience. And I hope you have learned a lot in these 2 hours, and you will remember it for a like, what I can say, for a more number of years. Was it fruitful, guys? Did you love the session? Give me a heart symbol if you loved it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. सी देखो, मेरा सिंपल है. अगर करना है ना तो जान लगा दो या फिर सीधा जाने दो. सो आई डू इट वेरी हार्ड, एंड आई डू इट विद ऑल द फोकस एंड इंटेंसिटी दैट हैव. सो it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Do we have knowledgeware team here? Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll go on mute for a minute. Thank you so much, everyone, for the love and appreciation. It means a lot to me. I've been working on this from a long time. See, you are investing your time, right? So I have to make sure that you get a good return on your investment. uh, do we have knowledgeware team here? Can anybody from KnowledgeWare team unmute and hello? I hope certificate is downloadable, right, guys? Or no, it's not downloadable yet. KnowledgeWare team, can you please respond? So guys, I have just received one information. So the email that I have pinned, right? So you just have to drop a single message like you have completed that course, and like what is your year of passing out, uh, and yeah, and your full name. They will be sharing you the certificate by their side. So you just drop a email to info@knowledgeware.in, your full name, your passing, that you have completed the course, and your year of passing. They will release you the certificate. Is it okay? Okay. So yeah, I'll also put the message. Drop, send. Okay, I'm just dropping you that link again so that it will be easy for you guys. Shop to. Okay, so yeah, I have dropped a message so that now there will be no doubts. Okay, send your name, information that you have completed, and then they will give you a certificate. Okay, so yeah, I am on time. So till 1:30 we were having the time. 1 minute is passed. So I hope that was a good learning for all of you. And please do not forget to send a email, and then you will get your certificate, completion certificate. I'm audible, right, guys? Yeah.